What's going on? We are back this week with your Purple Pants podcast coverage of the Real Housewives of Potomac, season 9, episodes 11 and 12. And I'm so excited to be here with my friend, Gia Worthy, contributor to the Silent Podcast, and to RHAP. How are you feeling today?
Oh my God, Bryce. I am doing lovely. I am officially off of work until New Year's, which I am very
Hey.
excited for. Yes, so I'm so happy. I work at a college, so the campus is closed from now until January 2nd, I think it is. I'll figure it out.
Oh,
I'll figure out someone will let me know when I need to be back at work. But I have accomplished a lot today. I finished all my presents. I was working very hard on this. I made my dad a blanket this year with the colors of his high school that he works at.
oh
And so
wow.
I worked very, very hard on it and it is done. It is perfect. So I'm like, that was the one thing I need to get done. Everyone else's presents is wrapped. I'm like, oh, it's done. It's done. So like no one's achieving that older sister energy like me right now. So I feel pretty on top of the world.
Listen, I love that. I too wrapped all of my Christmas gifts today. They are all under my plant. That is my tree that will serve as a tree this year because I definitely did not have time to put up a tree, but
Oh,
all my wrapping is done.
so you don't have a tree, but you have
But
like a plant. Like how tall is the plant?
so I have multitudes of plants, right? I
Yes.
have in my living room, I have maybe like 25 plants. And so I did hang some ornaments on the plants that could take the ornaments. And so that's the 'tis the season right
Yeah.
there.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better because I don't have a tree at my place. And like people aren't coming over to my place. Like let's be serious for a second. No one's coming over to my place for Christmas. So it's more just like for me, like because people are like, you have to have a tree, you have to have something for Christmas. So I have like this little desktop tree
I
pretty
love
much
that.
in my living room area you don't put presents on it, but it's like just to acknowledge that
Ye-
Christmas is happening. And then I did a little bit of rearrangements with my Halloween decorations because Halloween is like my favorite of the holidays of the winter months. And
Wait.
yes,
So you said you did a little rearranging of your Halloween decorations. So you still have Halloween decorations up.
yes. But you put like little ornaments on it instead and
Oh,
like little fake snow. So it's just like it's like it's Christmas, but still in Halloween mode still.
okay. Remind me to let you know that I'm judging you in my head,
It's
okay?
okay.
Because
We listen and we don't
we
judge, Bryce.
listen and we don't judge. Okay, you're right. Listen.
If you see it, you'll understand because
Okay.
it's not like all over. It's just like little statement pieces here and there. But I
Okay.
actually worked very hard for it to come together nicely. So
Okay.
I'm very proud of my Christmas Halloween decorations this year. Thank you,
Boo.
Home Goods.
Yes. Well, listen, 'tis the season. Whatever season you want to celebrate, go on ahead and celebrate. I am really glad to have you for episode 11 and 12. Now, mind you, Jatia, my co-host, she's traveling the world with her family, so she can't be here. And normally we talk about the episodes. However, when real life stuff happens, whether somebody getting divorced, somebody an accident, we like to talk about it on the podcast. And throughout this season 9, Karen the Grand Dame, we know in March got into a DUI accident in her Maserati. It was just one of one. She crashed into a tree, and we see it playing out on this season. Karen is not drinking. We know that she has a court hearing coming up on this season, and she's really being like, I'm gonna fight the good Lord. We fighting this case. However, this season, maybe episode 4 or 5, she went to court. The court case got postponed. They offered Karen a plea, and her lawyer recommended that she took it to trial. Well, Gia, this week, earlier this week, I want to say like Thursday,
Mhm.
was Karen's court case, and she was found guilty of 7 of the 8 charges that she was charged with, Karen was convicted of DUI, negligent driving, failure to control your speed to avoid collision, and failure to notify authorities of an address change. Now, she is facing a minimal of 2 years. Hopefully, her lawyer can do something about that. She can get off or something. But, baby, that's not it, Gia. Because Karen didn't opt for to take the plea and she went to trial, the defense entered into evidence, which is public records, the police body cams. And when I tell you the police body cams of the officers on the scene, the officers apprehending Karen, Karen being interrogated is all over the internet. And oh, Gia, it
Mm-hmm.
does not look good for the grand dame. She is, first of all, Ray is on the scene. Okay, we in this season and seasons, we Karen talks about how her and Ray, like, they're not on the same page. They're working on finding their love. Baby, Ray stepped up. He was talking to the police. He was trying to save Karen as much as possible. At one point in time, Karen was like, my husband's gonna talk to you. And they're like, no. We need you to answer us. Karen is saying F them. Karen is saying she rich. Karen is saying, they call her the grand dame. She don't know why they call her the grand dame. That's something Andy Cohen told them. While she's being interrogated, she told the police officers that she was Thomas Jefferson's concubine.
Mm. I also heard, so I did a little digging this week after knowing that I was going to come on for this week's episode, but that she called one of the officers white and poor.
Okay. She says she's very rich.
Yes, I chuckled a little at that one. The concubine, concerning. I don't know what was happening there. But I'm gonna be honest, I did not know up until this point that like DUIs were things that you're like found guilty of. I thought it was something that people are just like, you did it, like this
well,
is.
In normal cases, you normally like can accept the guilty plea. However, she did not accept the guilty plea. We see it playing out on this season. It ain't looking good, and it's like, let alone you get convicted of these charges. Okay, great. Not great, but like, okay. But for this video to come out, it's like, first of all, Karen, fire your lawyer, because if y'all know these videos exist, I'm sure y'all have had to see them due to the discovery process. Baby, your lawyer should have told you to take a plea.
Yeah. Like I'm not well versed in law, obviously. Like this is all new to me. However, girl, like you clearly did it, right? Like just take the plea like any other citizen would do in this case. Like you did it. What was she gonna do? Like community service, probation, like AA classes, something like that.
Well, I don't know, because this is her second DUI. So she probably was facing something of a something. And it's like, Karen, you're a housewife. You're a public figure. You're on TV. You know the judicial system is probably going to come down heavy on you. But just seeing these videos alone, it makes me be like, Karen, fire that lawyer. Because, then they're saying Karen wasn't read. So earlier in the season, another story had broke out that like Karen's defense was trying to get some evidence thrown out, saying she wasn't read her Miranda rights. Baby, you can watch the video, okay? The police say, like, the police are very clear in these videos. And it's like, for me, Karen is a Black woman. She almost favors my mom, right? And it's like, I just don't like to see images of a Black woman like Karen, who we call the grand dame, who really, outside of being on reality TV, in the last 2 years, she's bought back the plantation that she traced back to where her family was. Like, she really has been doing great things in the community, and it just sucks to see someone kind of go down like this. And it's just like, and although we making fun and hee hee ha ha, but like seeing those videos of her, it really makes me sad. And I feel,
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine how Karen feels. Now, a lot of the fans are speculating that she probably will not attend the reunion. However, I also feel like the Karen that I know, she's absolutely going to attend the reunion. But these girls, i.e., Mia, they're going to eat her alive with all of this footage. It's just like, whew, it is a hard one for the Grand Dame. Now, on the upside, if Karen does have to go to jail, in the Bravo realm, that really only like raises your popularity, your
Like,
stake. You better
yeah,
ask Teresa, you better ask Jen Shah. Like, it only really makes you kind of popular. So,
her House
whew,
of Villains spot is calling her name. House of Villains season 3 on the horizon. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
listen,
And
she would kill it.
yeah, that part. But and I do agree. I think that in the grand scheme of things, of course, this is not a fun situation. Like, of course, we're gonna have. Thankfully, no one was hurt or killed or anything like that, and it was
Right.
just a 1-for-1. I mean, like, it's still not great, but there's times where we can have a little chuckle about it because it is a public figure. However, I do agree with you. I resonate with you when you're talking about how it sucks to see a Black woman uh do this to herself and also be in a situation like this, especially as a public figure, because I think quite frequently a lot of people that aren't in the reality TV realm, like they are not on a show or they're not listening to podcasts, they're not in a like a fandom community, or even just like as a regular like fair weather viewer, they look down on shows like this, particularly like Housewives, Bachelor, Bachelorette, ones with usually like a lot of uh a lot of women either involved or a large woman viewership in there. But there is something so powerful to me, not just within this brand of reality TV, but as reality TV as a whole, about seeing public figures in that look like you or could have stories that are similar to you. I mean, you know me, I love Survivor Fiji and I love that all Black Final 3 that comes out of it. And that has been that's really been my introduction to diversity and introduction to the importance of representation on reality TV shows. So while it is something that can be dismissed often, I just think that people really need to think about the importance of characters like Karen, who is not perfect. We know she's not perfect, but that she is also doing a lot of great work that viewers like us really look up to and are really empowered by, even if it's just like certain things that are happening in there. And I'm very new to the Real Housewives universe. Like I used to watch it more regularly, but that was when there was like 3 of them. It was like Orange County, Atlanta, and
New
New
York.
Jersey. Yeah, and New York. Like those were like the ones, and I would only watch like Atlanta and New Jersey because like let's be real. Like I'm not wasting my time. But like that's when I was a little more involved, but this is my first time being introduced to this universe of Real Housewives, and I really loved Karen in these 2 episodes. Like I have a couple standout favorites here in these
Let's hear it.
episodes, but
What you
Karen
got?
Karen was fantastic. Is it a hot take? Do we love Wendy?
So so it's a hard road for me, right? Because
Okay.
a couple of seasons ago, she was linked up with Candace. I loved Candace, but Wendy and Gizelle were going at it, and I'm a Gizelle stan, so I didn't
Mm-hmm.
love them going at it. But we do love Wendy. Wendy eats. She's got 4 degrees. She's very smart. She has a 2-wick candle line out, so we love
Mhm.
Wendy.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay. That makes sense to me. She does carry like a 4 degrees energy. Like everything
Yeah,
about her, just like she just has that. It's like some girls got it and others don't, and that's okay. But Wendy's got it.
for
Like
sure.
I love, especially this episode. I feel like she was a little more of a backseat character in the first episode, episode 11, but in episode 12, it was all about her Panama trip. And oof.
Yeah.
it was
She
something.
she chose chaos. Now
She chose
jumping
chaos.
she chose chaos, and although it might have made the girls mad, for the viewers, I love to see it. But some takeouts or some takeaways from episode 11. One, Stacey, Giselle, and Karen, they meet up for lunch, and Giselle and Karen are basically telling Stacey, like, listen, I don't really know what's going on with you and TJ, but you might need to seek some other penises. Stacey is getting out of a 16-year relationship. She's with TJ, who is visibly attractive. However, he is celibate. He doesn't want to have sex. And now, I feel like sometimes you got to test the car before you buy it. And
Oh,
TJ's a little
absolutely.
quirky. And there are rumors and people just says that TJ's not that into her. And so we've seen through the past couple of episodes, he's exhibited some behaviors that we don't necessarily love, but um yeah, I mean, 16 years and then you dating somebody that's your best friend, but you're not being intimate, baby. I will be on a pogo stick to the next, to the next, to the next, to the
When
next.
the Chiron came up at the Love Lagoon, it said, Stacey's best friend, I about screamed. Because you cannot tell. Listen, I have made my fair share of mistakes in relationships. I will be damned if I bring somebody to a Love Lagoon party and have their Chiron showed up as my bestie. Like, absolutely fucking not. Like, absolutely
Yeah.
not, Bryce. Like that. Again, and I've only watched these 2 episodes, and I feel the same. I am very Team Karen and Gizelle on this. Like, girl, what are you? I have had listen, I am not I cannot share in the sentiment of a relationship for that long. Okay, that is just not me. That is not where I've been. That's not my journey. That's okay.
Yeah.
But the idea of going from a 16-year relationship to immediately dating, whatever you
Mm,
call it. And he
okay.
himself, in front of all our friends,
At the
said
Love Lagoon said
that
he.
at the Love Lagoon said that they were not dating. So I'm like, okay, bet. Like that's the immediate like download the apps. Do I mean I'm sure surely she's on Raya or something like that. Like surely there's something that she's able to do about this situation. Like this is not the only man that's available to her. But to go from that to dating, not dating, your male bestie, girl, you need to pick some other unhealthy dating habits because this is just like sad to watch. It's just like it's painful. It's not even
Yeah.
funny. The commentary was funny, but that was painful.
Right. And it's like I do feel bad because TJ could be a great guy. And like, sometimes we or women and even I, you meet
Mm-hmm.
somebody and they want to get up in your panties too
Mm-hmm.
quickly. And it's like, okay, red flag.
Yes,
However, if you're not even tugging at the panties, that's a red
I
flag
think
too. But
yes, and I don't want to judge anybody's decision
right.
for any reason that they want to be celibate, right? Like that is their journey. I respect that. But I think also just his attitude about things moving forward and also just like the fair weatherness of it. And if sex is important to you, then I agree with you that like you want to test out the car before you purchase it. You want to test out the ride. See if the engine is in check and whatnot. See if that
Okay.
oil is running.
Hmm.
Um that is not something you'll want to find out when it's too late if it's not up to par, if it doesn't pass inspection.
Listen, we need
I
to we
actually
need
do
to
have to
know.
get my car's oil changed soon, but
You're part of the problem, Gia.
that's why the terminology is like fresh in my head.
Another standout couple or commentary at the Lagoon was Jazzy and Darius. Jazzy is kind of like a friend of the show. She doesn't hold a full
Mhm.
blossom, but when we met Jazzy, Darius was a part of the Super Bowl winning team last year. He's an NFL player, and Jazzy has been with Darius for 3 years.
Mhm.
When a couple of weeks ago, the ladies were asking about Darius's kids, and she said Darius has two kids under three.
Oh,
Right.
so the
And
math.
so
That's where that little flashback came in. Okay.
that's where the flashback came. And then one of the questions at the Love Lagoon was, do you believe your partner has ever cheated? And Darius said No. However, Jazzy, this kind of made me like Jazzy because
Mm-hmm.
Jazzy said, I do feel like it. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't prove it, but I feel like it. And
Yep.
I'm not dumb. He's had children inside of the relationship. And I was like, oh, she does know because earlier on the season, she was kind of trying to make the math work and the math wasn't work because it take 9 months to make a baby. So even though the baby might be 3 and you've been dating him for 3 years, you would have to go back almost 4.5 years. Like, so
Mm-hmm.
I was respecting that she could acknowledge. And I said, okay.
Mm-hmm. She was real about it. Like, even if I don't agree with it, she was real about it. And I like that. And can I just say, during the Love Lagoon, Bryce, these men were so boring with their answers.
Well, Darius wasn't because Darius said he liked to
He
get
liked to show, but it was like, you're going around, and I get they're on camera, right? But you're like who's the more submissive one, who's the more dominant one, right? And all the guy, oh, I'm the dominant
I'm the
one. I'm the
dominant one.
dominant one. Oh, you would never be the dominant one. Like, I'll be damned if you're the dominant one. First of all, Ray immediately was like, when we first started dating,
Okay.
like,
Okay.
do we love Ray? Is that a popular
We
thing?
we love Ray. We
Okay, I
love
love
Ray.
Ray. I love Ray, like, very much so. But it was like,
Ray.
you all are so boring. You're talking about, oh, I'm the dominant one. I'm the dominant one. Like, shut up. Okay,
When
like, this is not what I'm looking. You're all telling me you're all having vanilla sex every time, and that's just what you do. For shame that made the cut on there. Waste of a question.
when TJ said, "Oh, you're definitely not going to be more dominant than me." Not
Yeah,
how can you be more dominant than Stacey, TJ,
yeah,
when you are sleeping with a Bugs Bunny in your bed? But
yeah.
we will
That part.
we'll
The math
we'll
is not
table that.
mathing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to know what you're doing with Bugs Bunny. But anyway,
Mm-mm.
Mia's best friend Jacqueline, Karen and her used to be cool. Then they've had a falling out in the beginning of this season where
Mm-hmm.
Karen was kind of like talking to the ladies about her DUI case. Jacqueline said some not so great comments like, yeah, Karen called me the other night and I felt like she was drunk. And it's like, come on, girl. Like, Karen's fighting this case. You know, this is going to be filmed. Like, stop playing. So, Karen has not been messing with Jacqueline. Mia wanted to bring her last episode 10 to the Love Laguna or Love Lagoon, but Karen was like, absolutely not. Jacqueline shows up with 8 pink balloons for the 8 citations. And no one seemed to heard what Jacqueline was saying, but Jacqueline was saying that she brought the balloons to represent the citations and that she wanted to release the pressure that Karen was going through, and Karen shut it down. Now, in retrospect, and we know what Karen was just recently convicted of. Maybe Karen should have let Jacqueline come and release those balloons. Maybe that would have helped a little bit because the pressure is getting worse.
Yeah. First of all, now Jacqueline, Miss, I didn't even want to go to the, you know damn well what you were doing. If you didn't want to go, you would not be there. And second,
Press.
like, no invite is an invite. And she explicitly said, I don't want you there at my home. Girl. And then you're coming with 8 heart balloons to this. Like, you were just
Citations.
passing by, girl. Girl.
Now, a part of me understands the idea of the citations and wanting to letting them go. Like, a
Yeah.
part of me is like, okay, that's kind of cute. However, it's like, Jacqueline, peep the scenery. Like,
Yeah.
do you think Karen is going to receive this well?
Read the room. Like, you two are not on good terms. You are not the person to be bringing these balloons into this house. And also, if you're trying to have this party just with like other couples or just with like your friends and everything like that, you're probably not going to want to be reminded about your court case.
The whole point of it
The
being a Love
decorum.
Lagoon, Karen hasn't had a Love Lagoon in 3 years. There's a reason why she's hosting a Love Lagoon party.
Yes.
But read the room. However, the ladies are going to Panama, even though my girl Kiarna at first said she'd rather go to a bigger I'd rather go to a bigger European city, Italy. Girl,
Like,
Girl.
girl, this show called me poor so many times here because you tell me we're going to Panama. I don't care if it's apparently there's a city, Panama,
In
in Florida.
Florida.
In Florida. I don't care if it's that Panama. I don't care if it's the country Panama. There's a Panama City in Panama. I will go to wherever, whatever Panama you want me to go to.
Sign me up,
Yes.
Kiarna. Okay, while we on Kiarna, we like Kiarna, but we don't like Greg. Okay, Greg,
Right?
he wants. That's
Yeah.
her fiance's name. He wants Kiarna to cook,
No.
clean. It's giving.
Ew.
He doesn't really want Kiarna to be her full self. Now, Greg could be a great guy, but the
What
clips
does
that we have.
Greg do?
So he
Do we-
owns like I want to say, I think that he's a therapist and he owns a practice, and it looks like they do in-home services. It's kind of the gist
Okay.
of what we get.
Oh, I can't make fun of him for being a therapist. But
Right.
still, like, okay, you want her to, but that's not the person you're dating or you're engaged to. Like, they are not a homebody, or not, at least not to the level that you are wanting. But you knew this already, and she wants to build a career of her own. And if you want a woman that does that, there are women out there that do that, that like that is the life they want for themselves, but you're trying to reel in a woman that's not about that life.
Read the room.
Mm.
Read the room, Greg. Speaking of rooms, when we get to Panama, after we arrive to Panama, the ladies have a 2-hour car ride to get to their resorts. Obviously, if you know anything about housewives, the biggest thing of the biggest things is the room selection. There are 3 villas. Wendy chooses to have, I believe it's Wendy, Kiarna, and I don't know, maybe Jazzy. And Wendy chose chaos, and Wendy decided to put Karen, Ashley, and Jacqueline in a villa together.
It was
Now,
so mess, yes.
what?
And she knew what she was doing in that. She said, I chose mess, I chose chaos, and I love her for that.
However, it's interesting. And when we saw the previews of season 9, right, Gia?
Hmm.
So it used to be a clique, right? It used to be Karen, Candace, and Wendy. They were like really, really close. And then we had like Gizelle, Ashley, and Robin. Robin is no longer on the show anymore, but she's going to be on Traders season 3. So we're excited for
Yes.
Robin. Uh, and so Karen and Wendy supposedly have this really good relationship. Now, it does make for great TV to put Karen and Jacqueline in that same villa together. However, Wendy, if Karen is your girl, like you might want to keep her close to you. But in the previews of the whole season, it looks like we see a falling out of Karen and Wendy. And this looks like it could be the starting stones to what we see of the breakdown of Wendy and Karen. Now, more importantly, we get to dinner, and this is where a lot of the fireworks happen. Now, we know Wendy has graciously thrown this Panama trip. However, the ladies are not all great. We know that Jacqueline and Mia are besties, and Mia and Karen are not on good terms. Gizelle and Mia are not on good terms because at a charity event, they got into an altercation or a fight, and Mia brought up Giselle's kids, saying that they were trying to sneak boys into the villa. Gizelle hasn't spoke about it, but at this table, I guess Jacqueline tries to address Karen and says, like, listen, I don't know if y'all heard, but I brought these balloons because they wanted to represent the citations, and I was coming in peace. Now, I was here for Jacqueline when she was doing and saying that because I'm like, okay, this makes sense. Child, Karen took a left. Karen said, I am in the process of seeking to press charges. You releasing those balloons in the air is causing global warming and it's bad for the people. First of all, Karen, at that time, you had your own pending case. I don't think while you are in court for your DUI, you can ask the judge to now issue a trespassing violation. I think you should leave the judicial system out of this, Karen, because it's not going to age well.
Oh,
Eh,
Karen, I can't. It's just doing I was with you, but that's doing a bit of the most right there. Like one step at a time, please. And the first step is already not going great. So I don't know what you're planning to do with the second step here with the pressing charges on her. I'm guessing this was just kind of like her throwing a lot out there. It's not actually going to amount to anything, but girl, no.
Yeah.
No.
Like,
Yes.
leave that
Mm,
alone. So
yes.
then Giselle chimes in because Giselle is taking up for Karen. And then she addresses Mia and she says to Mia, like, what I show of my girls on the internet, yeah, it might be perfect. And if that's what you see, then my girls are perfect. I was like, you better stand up for your children.
Yes.
She was like, as it relates to my girls last summer, they're teenagers. That's what girls do. Not a big deal. But for you to bring that up to the group as if like you're trying to just bring my girls into this negative light, like, that's not what we doing. And then Mia kind of doubles down and says, well, that's what the girls were doing. And Wendy brings up a very interesting point. This time last year, like I said before, there was this fashion. There was Karen, Candace,
Mm-hmm.
Wendy, Gizelle, Robin, Ashley. Gizelle was not messing with Candace or Wendy. And it was Gizelle was bringing up her children at the table, and it looked like Wendy was making a face, and Gizelle ate Wendy up. And Wendy chooses this time to say, well, I feel like when I was not even saying anything about your kids, you perceived me making a face, you cussed me out. You got Wendy over here saying your girls is being hoochie mamas, and you're letting her off with grace. Now, I was like, oh, that's a good point, Wendy.
Mm,
Giselle countered and said, Wendy, you and I weren't even speaking at the time. So, yeah, I'm going to come at you with venom. However, Mia is supposed to be a good girlfriend of mine. And so, of course, I'm going to approach the situation a little different, but still let her know. And so, I hate to agree because the people that be watching and they be like, oh, you always take up for Giselle. But I felt like that was a good point. Like Giselle and Wendy weren't even communicating. Like they hated
yeah.
each other. So of course, Wendy can sneeze and Giselle thinks she's talking about her kids and is going to cuss her out.
Mm-hmm. I I do mostly agree with I think Wendy makes a good point. Again, I've met Wendy for 2 episodes and I already love her. So like this is not like I am not the most fair judge on this. I have not seen all the evidence, I've not seen all the receipts. However, I really agree with Gizelle here about like acknowledging the fact that I know it's a reality show, but they are again on a show. So I always get very uncomfortable with the issues, and this is not a Real Housewives specific thing. This is more specifically with like the TLC shows that have like the
Mm,
the large families and like influencer kids and stuff like that, where kids can't really consent to being on TV, but families still are making money off of their lives and
have you
everything.
seen the Duggar documentary?
Yes, yes. Oh yes, I have. All of those. It's quite interesting. But everything with those, and we see a lot of them now on like TikTok, like these influencer families and stuff.
Mhm.
There's just a lot of problematic stuff going on. But being a teenage girl or a young woman, I don't know how old Giselle's kids are, is such a vulnerable time in their lives, especially when you're on a public platform or public platform by proxy because your parents are on there, that are on the show and have decided to make their lives public or have this be a part of the way that they're making money. And I'm not judging the Real Housewives for that specifically, but I think there's comes a point where you need to be that protective of your kids, because this idea of talking about publicly, this is going to air, that Giselle's daughters are sneaking guys into their room, like that to me is kind of crossing a line over there, because these are teenagers that are going to school. They might
They're
have
in
people that
college.
work at the school that watch this show. They might have people who's like, like their friends or colleagues, whatever. What are peers, that's what I meant. Yes, their peers are like have access to this show. So it's just a lot for these young women to be thrown into the spotlight. It's already hard being a teenage girl. Okay, I did it. It was not easy. It was rough a lot of times. But to have that extra, like you do not have the luxury of ambiguity in this case, or that they can kind of pick out, oh, like this is the one that had guys sleeping. Like
Mhm.
teenagers are mean, okay? They will take anything you have, like any dirt they have on you and run with it, even just the perception of dirt on you and run with it. So to say this out loud on a public platform, I feel like is crossing a line. And I think that like,
Absolutely.
and it's not specifically with this show, but it's a larger problem. But in this specific instance, yes, Gizelle is in the right here.
Absolutely. And again, Wendy or Mia comes back and it's like, y'all brought my kids up. But like, yeah, we brought your kids up in the sense of the storyline that you have your kids in, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're talking about. You're talking about something that happened off camera that I told you off camera. Now you're bringing it on camera,
Yeah.
like messy boots, Mia. However, Mia then talks about how she is struggling every day. Gordon wakes up a new person. She has to deal with this. And so it's extremely difficult for her to navigate this. And essentially, she's like, I might lash out on y'all, but it's like, because I don't know what my everyday is going to be. And it seems like the ladies they have sympathy for Mia. And they're like, listen, Mia, like we can show up for you however you allow us to show up. And that's kind of sort of how the night ends. And then the next day, the ladies are getting ready to go on an excursion. And we see Mia on the phone. And Mia is talking to her mom about how for this trip to Panama, Mia has had a nanny for her children. However, she had a nanny for her children for the entire stay. However, when she left, Gordon didn't want the children with a nanny. Gordon took the kids from the nanny, drove them 4 hours away, and dropped them off at an old nanny, and now is not picking up the phone. And so I feel like this could be an example as to what Mia is talking about with Gordon, and how like she just doesn't know what Gordon she's going to be or get. But
Mm-hmm.
I also, if I could be a little cynical here,
Yes.
and I don't put it past Mia, like, how convenient for this to happen, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want to say that. I don't want to say that, but I thought it. And I was
Yeah.
just like, how convenient would this be for this alleged situation to happen right after the night that,
Yeah.
and now it would only make the ladies be more empathetic for you. Not saying that that's the case, but I am saying I did think about that when she was
I mean,
revealing
I
this
could see it.
story.
I could see it because she was playing a little too innocent with the whole 8 balloon situation here when she knew damn well what was about to happen.
And she
But
gave her the address. But yeah,
I
like
know
it's just
that
kind of
part.
kind of convenient. However, if not, I'm a social worker, and custody with parents and children is such a difficult thing, and it can
Yes.
be a crazy thing to navigate. However, but Mia, it's like you're presenting to us and the girls in the world that like you and Gordon are co-parenting great, right? Like, he
Mm-hmm.
loves the kids, this and that. So it's like it does seem a little off that this would happen. And I've I haven't nannied, but I've nannied for like family and friends before, where I've had children for like 4 days while their parents went to a wedding. Let's be clear. If the mother, like my best friend, she left her children with me, and I had them over the summer. Uh Ain't nobody's grandmom, auntie knocking on my door and taking the kids.
Yeah.
Like
That I need more clarification on this story because I kind of agree with it. Like I get divorce is messy, custody cases are messy, parents that being fair weather caretakers is not a new concept. So and the Real Housewives are definitely not immune to any of that. But I do need more context in here because I agree. Like there is always like a specific plan in place. And if like I'm not watching anybody's kids, but that was but like when I have like I have younger brothers that are like younger than me by a decade. So when they were younger, like not able to take care of themselves, now they're older. But like I would watch them and everything like that, but nobody is coming there besides my dad and stepmom to and my dad and stepmom are still together. So like no one is coming to the door and saying, oh, they said I could take like the kids or I could have like the absolutely fucking not. And as somebody that grew up with parents that were not together, there were always very specific rules about who is allowed with the kids. If somebody is like,
Mhm.
like who has the kids this weekend, who is picking up, like they had to communicate with the school of who was picking up the kids these days. And if there was somebody different that's not my mom or dad, then this is who it is. Like people take that shit very seriously. So I would like to know more about how this possibly transpired.
And I will give Mia the benefit of the doubt, right? If this, in fact, is the type of behavior that Gordon is exhibiting, and that you're seeing this
Mm-hmm.
erratic, like you're just going to take the kids 4 hours away and then drop them off, then, like Karen and Gizelle said earlier in the season, you need to protect these kids. You need to get a court order. You need to stop trying to play nice on the internet and with these family
Yeah.
photos, because it's like, he really is. I'm not saying he would hurt the kids or anything, but I'm just saying, like, him in that manic state, taking these kids places, like, no, 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 no. You need to insert your parental capacities and
Yeah.
do what is in the best interest of these children, even if it's going to hurt Gordon's feelings. And I think that that really is the sentiment that the ladies were trying to get across to me. And if this story that she is telling us, how she is telling us, is true, then it's like, baby, it's time for you to go to the courts and seek physical and legal primary custody of these kids, because ain't nobody taking my turtle
Mm-hmm.
2 blocks up the street. And like, yeah, that's just crazy to me. Like,
Yeah.
that's like, and so I want to believe Mia, but like Mia time and time be lying or bending the truth. So it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
see, like, because yeah. So, but I'm gonna believe Mia on this. And if that is true, what Gordon is doing, and he's not answering the phone, like,
Yeah.
that's crazy to me.
Yeah. Like I'm hoping the next episode opens and it's just a whole misunderstanding and they're fine, right? Or like they're able to fix it up real quick before they go on their little Panamanian excursion here. But I agree. It's kind of like, I don't know. I don't understand how something like that happens in this particular context because it seems like there should be an airtight plan in place before you are going on your Liberation Girls trip. By the way,
Absolutely.
I need to go to Panama because it looked lovely over there. I think this made me want to go on another vacation.
It absolute. First of all, I'm rolling over a week and a half of vacation into next year.
Yeah.
So listen, I was like literally thinking about that as well. I was like, I'm thinking like, have I been to Panama? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't.
Mhm.
I would know. I'm like, I've been to Portugal. I'm like, Portugal and Panama
Mhm.
different, but we need to add
We
Panama
need to add
to
Panama to
my
the list. I want that.
list.
I want to know the address of those villas because, like, yes, any of them. The also, Bryce, I
Yeah.
need your opinion on this real quick because
Okay.
I had some contention with one part of this episode. The bunk beds from a previous trip. Would you be upset about bunk beds? Because
Uh,
they looked damn comfy to me.
I yes and no, right? Like,
Okay.
I wouldn't. First of all, as long as I have a room, listen,
Yeah.
I can make something shake, and I got my own bathroom. Like, yeah, and
That's the big thing.
right. So
Yeah.
I would have not been tripping over bunk beds. And also Kiarna and Stacey need to know this is Housewives, baby. It's like being in a fraternity or sorority. There
Yeah.
is levels of hazing that go on,
That is true.
and y'all lucky y'all weren't in 2 twin beds, because there have been housewife trips where like ladies had to share a queen size bed. So yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been mad. I thought you were gonna bring up Dancing with the Devil.
Oh my God. I forgot about that for a second. That part too. Okay. That
So yeah, I would not have been dancing with the devil. Mind you, I was raised with a black mother that went to church. Do you remember, maybe I'm aging myself, this was had to been in the early 2000s. Do you remember the devil sticks? They were like 2 sticks, and like you could kind of like click click click. I
yeah.
don't know.
Wait, no. I get what they're like
It's like 2 drumsticks, and then it was
yeah.
like another stick, and you would like spin them around.
Yeah,
So
because they would like sell them as like they used to sell a lot of stuff like they're like circus act things, but you could like You could just
They
buy them at like a toy store.
KB Toys, Toys R Us. It was called
Yeah.
Devil Sticks, and I wanted one for Christmas. And I
You
was
were not getting
set.
those devil
I
sticks?
okay. My mom said Santa does not deliver. First of all, I was like 14, and my mom was literally saying this because mind you, I like, yeah. Listen, when I say I'm gay, I'm really gay because like I was like 16, still knowing that Santa was not real, but still wanting my mom to play that role. And my mom was like, Santa don't bring no nothing with the name devil into this house. So I would have not been dancing with that devil. Just the
Mm.
FYI. But
It wouldn't I feel like I wouldn't even thought about it.
I
Maybe you
feel
can
like I've
tell
had
which of my parents is the black parent. But but I feel like
ah,
I
it's
didn't even
not
think
you
of
got a
that.
black daddy. Oh, yeah. Your mom let you get them devil sticks, Gia.
I feel
Listen.
like my mom would. I feel
I
like she wouldn't. I feel like she would not. Like my mom was raised. I love my mom. She was raised in a very Catholic household, but I feel like she kind of like distanced herself from the strict that like she grew up in a generation that told her to not let her kids read like Harry Potter. And like now
mm,
we hate JK Rowling anyway, but she was not the mom that was going to be like you guys can't read Harry Potter because there's witchcraft in it. Really, that wasn't her. So I love you, mom. If you happen to
yeah.
like roll in there, but I feel like I just like wouldn't even have thought of it. But for these women, no, they needed like an explanation of it too. They needed like, what is the purpose of the? Are we supposed to dance with him? Are we supposed to like repel her? Why is he here? I'm like, I didn't even think of this.
And then
But
for
oh,
Karen to be the main one dancing with him. And girl, now we see girl.
maybe I should have taken it more serious.
Yeah, yes. Okay. That ain't gonna age well for Karen. But I am excited to see what happens with the rest of this Panama trip.
Yes.
And so Jatia and I will be back in 2 weeks covering episodes 13 and 14. But Gia, thank you so much for stepping in, not
I'm
dancing with the
so honored.
devil, but stepping in with an angel. Before we go, where can people follow you and what else do you have cooking, Gia?
Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I did not think that I would be like invested in the housewives of Potomac this year, but I am invested. I'm very excited to see the outcome of this. So thank you again for thinking of me and having me on here. You
Okay.
can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky at Classically Gia for all of my reality TV shenanigans. Over on Silent Podcast, I just wrapped up our Survivor 47 coverage, and we will almost be done with our Inside Survivor coverage as well that I do with my good friend Christine Palin. So while we are waiting for a new season of Survivor to come up, I have to announce that one, I am doing bi-weekly coverage with Chappelle on Abbott Elementary. And during
Yes.
the holidays, we have a very special treat for you because Abbott Elementary is on a break, but we are recording a seasonal recaps of my favorite Netflix show. It is a South African show called How to Ruin Christmas. It is absolutely incredible. I highly recommend people watch it. Our recording of season 1, How to Ruin Christmas, the Wedding, is out. Chappelle and I are going to be recording seasons 2 and 3, but it is an incredible show. Please listen, give us 5 stars, and give a show like these seasons are like 3-4 episodes long a piece, so like less than 3 hours out of your day. So give it a listen and try the show out. I promise, like this is worth the watch.
Let me go add that right now because I'm gonna need
Yes, Bryce.
something
Like
to watch when my family is getting on my nerves in this
Bryce,
upcoming week.
if you want an ensemble cast with a crazy ass family, this is the show.
Listen,
It's
you better listen.
incredible.
to Gia
Yes.
and tune in, and especially to their recaps. Gia, thank you so much.
Thank
Hopefully, we
you.
can talk soon in the new year. But this has been your Purple Pants podcast coverage of the Real Housewives of Potomac, season 9, episode 11 and 12. Have a happy holiday if you celebrate, and we will talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye. It's the Purple Pants podcast. You better listen in public, might make your stomach hurt. Ooh. It's the Purple Pants podcast. You're trying to unwind, you better get that box wine. It's the Purple Pants podcast. You're trying to get your snack, you better hurry right back though. It's the Purple Pants. It's the Purple Pants.